Welcome to Raging Bullets, a DC Comics fan podcast, episode 795. We continue our road to 800 episodes.
From the sleepy suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, there are assembled the world's two greatest podcast hosts, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Sean Whalen.
Welcome to Raging Bullets, a DC Comics fan podcast. I'm a big fan of variant colors. My love for Batman is that stuff. Let's talk some comics.
And Jim Segulin.
How's it going, Ed? You know me and Superman. I'm really loving what they're doing. Raging Bullets is a spoiler podcast.
Their mission, to discuss DC Comics in books, movies, and television several times a month in 1 to 3 hour episodes. And to serve all mankind.
Outstanding.
Welcome to Raging Bullets. I'm Sean Whalen, drnorge, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Jim, the sensational sensei of the Whatnot Segulin.
How's it going, eh?
Jim, on this episode, we're continuing DCKO. And on this episode, we're going to be focusing on Titans issue number 29, DCKO number 2, and Superman number 32. We are sponsored, as always, by DCB Service and InStockTrades.com. Mr. Segulin, what is going on over at DCBService.com?
We have Superman, the Man of Steel by John Byrne, Absolute Edition, 48% off, only $52. And we have a Wonder Woman Black and Gold 2026 one-shot. Again, it's going back to that original really cool series that they had a couple of years ago, that Wonder Woman Black and Gold. Again, another just one-shot from that series, 38% off, only $371. So thank you, DCBS.
Over at InStockTrades.com, we talk about Titans issue 29 this episode, and we actually talked about Titans 28 as part of this exploration of DCKO. They have Titans 2023 trade paperback volume 4 terminated. This collects issues 22 to 27 leading up to this event. It is the Titans saga where Deathstroke seemingly comes back from the dead. It fills in some of the blanks as far as what's going on with Terra, how all of this led into this particular event. If you didn't read this story, it's a great way to get caught up. This is a 136-page book. It's $17.99 regularly, 48% off, only $9.35. So for less than $10, you can pick up the whole saga. John Layman, Pete Woods, just the whole creative team is involved in this. So if you're digging these issues right now and you're not a regular Titans reader, it's a great way to get caught up on a very cool story from this run. I want to thank DCB Service and InStockTrades.com for continuing to support our show. Mr. Segulin, what kind of a podcast are we?
Raging Bullets is a spoiler podcast. We go in-depth into plotline, story twists, and whatnot of the comics we're discussing on today's show. So if you haven't read the books, you may want to come back later so you can better enjoy the show.
Let's check in with DCKO.
Carter Hall, scientific genius from a far-off world, flies into action as Hawkman.
Jim, just before we kick in, I want to shout out, because we're going to next week be talking about DC Marvel's Batman Deadpool crossovers. And on the apps, they have the two exclusive ones. I shouted out previously on the DC app, they had the Flash and Fantastic Four one. Well, they released also on the Marvel app an exclusive one. It's Thor and Shazam, which when you think about the power sets of the two and everything, like, it's a great story. So if you happen to have the apps, each app has their own exclusive DC Marvel crossover, which I think is a cool thing. I'm glad they're embracing this, and we're seeing reprints of some of the previous stories that are coming out. You shouted it out in the ad last week, the fact that we're going to be getting the Superman, Spider-Man ones done again. I ordered both of those. Because just having those Treasury editions again as a kid, there's things as a kid that I beat up severely or didn't have. I didn't have both of those, so I didn't know there were two back in the day. I had one of them, but I didn't have both. So now being able to get them in those reprints with the Treasury size is just gold. So I hope they continue to reprint, because there's a lot of them. Like there's Batman Hulk and stuff like Batman Hulk. I really want. I would love a pristine copy of that, because I had that as a kid, and I'd love to have that one again. So I hope they go back through the various treasuries that came out and eventually make them all available again in some capacity.
I never had any of these. I just had the one And I don't remember when it came out. I had one where it was multiple fighting and all that stuff. And I remember it was Wolverine versus Lobo was one of the fights, which I thought that could have been better. And the Tim Drake versus Jubilee was absolutely outstanding. I remember that fight.
I'm going back to the 70s, dude.
Yeah. See, I don't have any of those.
Yeah.
Any of those at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, those crossovers were great, as far as the fact that they put them all together. But they were doing this stuff way back when. I remember as a kid when we were growing up. Did you have any Treasury comics? Did you end up having any of those? Yeah, those were, and I didn't have many of them. I had a couple of them, but the Batman Hulk one was the one that stood out for me the most that I had because I beat that one up from reading it so much. And I was careful with my stuff. What ends up happening is the more you read it, I mean, there's going to be
you can't help it.
Right, exactly. And I was young, but that's one of my earliest memories of comics was that Treasury. I just got lucky with that one. Today, we are going to start back into DCKO, and we're going to talk about Titans number 29. Worlds Apart. John Layman is the writer. Pete Woods on art and cover art. Wes Abbott on letters. Brad Walker, Marcelo Miolo, and Gilliam March on variant covers. Marquise Draper is the editor. Brittany Holzer, senior editor. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. And apologies for any name butchery. This is a Titans book. And there's no other way to say it. We talked a lot last time we talked about this book, about Layman's writing. And Pete Wood's art is something that I don't want to dismiss either. This is just a really, really strong team. The sense of family here, we're going back to that bunker in New York City is where we're kicking off on this issue. The sense of family here is something that's really, really important to me with DC and what they're doing with these characters, because we're shifting them apart and they're continuing to build off this idea of the Titans have been broken up into squads trying to save the Earth. And I love the debate that they're having here in the Titans bunker about what to do with the villains. And there's not one clean answer for this. There's a lot of different layers to what they have to do. I love this conversation because they're heroes, right? Your idea of trying to save as many people as you possibly can. But there's the heroes that are incarcerated. There's the heroes that are out in the wild, like especially ones they've just dealt with, like Deathstroke. And then there's some special cases that end up playing into this particular issue. I love the opening with this. I thought this is smart writing.
And I do love the fact that they're thinking about all the people who are currently incarcerated, where they're taking the full facility and just moving it.
Yep.
Instead of trying to do a transport, some people, they have to do one-on-one, but if they can do a bulk move, we got to do a bulk move. And that makes sense. And again, that goes towards your non-meta villains as well. Your criminals who are currently incarcerated. They're incarcerated for a reason. Just because the world's coming to an end doesn't mean, you get a pass on being on breaking the law. No, they still have to pay their debt, and they still have to be incarcerated. And I love the fact that we've got these prisons that they're like, okay, we're just taking the whole thing together, using the straight technology, moving on. But I love the fact that it's getting identified. And again, story-wise, it plays out later why they're breaking this stuff down, but also in Titans, in Justice League, in all these different titles, we're seeing them having to deal with the chaos of evacuating the entire planet.
Yep.
Where do you move people to? What do you do with them? Where do they go? What's the overall plan? Well, I love the fact that they're showing the building and just that. It was, again, a couple of page here, page there, kind of added to the storytelling.
There's an ethics to this, which I think is really, really great with heroes. And I love that the team, it's not one person making the decisions. They're talking through it as a group. And that's something that just, again, develops the team dynamic. It actually shows a growth between the team. And I love that Roy is the one that's bringing it up. Think about what happened with Roy. Roy's been in that position before. So I love that Roy, we're showing a maturity of Roy, which we saw in the last issue. We're seeing more of it in this issue. I thought that part really was well handled as well. I love how they're handling Roy in this.
And little art choices. I love the fact that they're sitting around breakfast, just having the conversation.
Yep.
You know, and it's a real normal looking thing to the point where they're showing Dick Grayson flipping eggs, cooking up some eggs. So it adds to the, not everything is the sitting in the war room and having the discussion and they're all in costume and no, they're sitting around drinking some coffee, having some breakfast, discussing what are we going to do now. You know, and again, we always say the Titans of family. This is how a family would discuss it.
Look at the look on Gar's face. Like it's really hard to capture like real interest in a conversation and things like that. Look at the look on Gar's face. Gar's paying attention to this conversation, and that was captured by the artist. I mean, that is real. When you're starting to grab like specific emotional facial expression, interest. I know I say emotion, it's not a heavy emotion where you're doing subtle things with the art. That part is, I think it's harder to do. Showing extreme emotion, don't get me wrong, I'm not an artist by any stretch. So showing extreme emotions, obviously, if you're doing that as an artist, kudos to you. I also think being able to do the subtle, showing nuances in your artwork, I think that starts to get to be next level art when you're doing that. Pete Woods is a brilliant storyteller. It's not an artist we get to talk about a lot on the show, and I'm so glad Pete's on this one because I've just always enjoyed Pete Woods' art, and this is just a great example of why this is just a talented storyteller. This art team is really killing it with this book, and that's the piece where I'm just really enjoying it. We shift from that to Raven and Nightwing, and I love that we're going to some of DC's famous places in order for refuge. Where would you go? Gem World, of course. I don't know why I did not think that it was a surprise, like especially when she was in the shadows. I'm like, is this? I was thinking maybe it is Corey's sister. When I saw her in the background, then we did the flip of the page. That was really good use of shadows. I was like, oh, of course, Gem World. Why wouldn't they use Gem World? It was a really cool setting for this particular story.
Funny you mentioned Corey's sister. I was thinking the exact same thing. The way they did that image.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's where they are right now. And I'm like, and to me, it kind of made sense with the connection, the familial connection, blah, 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 all that stuff. But again, I was wondering, what's going to happen here? And then you flip the page to Jim, we're like, oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. I love that.
That was a good use. Good swerve. Good swerve.
Good swerve. Good use of the art team on this. I love this story. The story they're telling is absolutely brilliant. But the art team is also on par with that same kind of brilliant level. I'm enjoying the visual side of this as much as the overarching story. So once again, we got another combo where the writing and the artwork are working so well together to tell the story.
Yeah. Yeah, John Layman's a master storyteller. And DC's got some really strong teams right now. And this is absolutely positively one of them. This whole thing with what's going on where we've got this poor girl that's lost her family.
Yeah.
I did not see where that was going because I figured she was separated from family. Okay, cool. We're going to see this piece. Then when we got to see the image of Jinx in the mirror, I loved how they did that. That was such a cool, now you guys know something the team doesn't know. I like when they do stuff like that. It was just very, very well handled.
Well, it was funny because when I first saw the image, I thought it was McGon, not Jinx.
Really?
Yeah, and I can see why. And again, it was one of those things. I was like, wait, why would McGon do that?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? And it was the weird thing. I was like, huh? And then I'm like, oh, that's Jinx. Oh, okay, all right, okay, I got you now. Well, now it makes it. Now that fits better. But I'll tell you,
I get why you think that. Yeah.
When I was first reading that, because again, I quick look, saw basically the look of her, I thought that was her, and I'm like,
and it looks like a shapeshifter situation,
right? And that's what I thought. That's why I was thinking shapeshifter.
Yeah, I get that.
Magic. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I like the fact that I was like, oh, that's cool.
As they're going through, I love how they're talking about Dick's experience as a billionaire, growing up in mansions and stuff like that. But this is different in a castle, and there's something unique about that situation. But Raven just having this situation where she's realizing, wow, we've got this somber moment because not a lot of anything on the housing market in Bloodhaven anymore. I mean, talking about that piece, these homes, these areas that this is where Dick's protected the city. For years, Bloodhaven's been his home. It's a lot different just living there. He's been invested in Bloodhaven. Now, all of that work, imagine that. all of that work has led to where they're at now. What did you really protect?
Yeah. And that's a tough call. Because again, you have these moments. Plus also, I like the fact that, yeah, he's lived in the mansion. Yeah, he had the butler, but he still is the circus kid.
Yes.
Like you and I, we both have nice houses. We got our own home, but there's still days when I'm still that kid from Euclid. I'm still that same family guy with the siblings, the 3 siblings and parents all in one little house, and you're all kind of stacked on top of each other. You never leave who you are, even though you got what you got now. There's still a piece of you.
I work in Garfield Heights now, and have you driven through Garfield Heights?
Yeah,
it's Euclid. I mean, it really is. I mean, they could be mirror image cities. So it was funny. I was telling one of my coworkers, they're like, well, how do you like it here? And I said, guys, it feels like being home. I said, when I drive through the streets, I said, so many streets you could actually take and transplant to Euclid and nobody would know you put another street there. Because I said, they look the same. I said, with the bungalows and just the whole look and everything. I said, I mean that in a positive way. I said, I really enjoy driving around here because I said, I do feel like I'm at home. And I said, I didn't expect that as being a bonus when I switched jobs, was the fact that it would feel like this. I said, I love driving around to the local places and things like that. I said, I feel like a kid again in all the right ways. So
yeah,
it's a fun idea.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. I completely hear you. And where I'm at right now, I live in Parma, and it's Euclid in the 80s. Mm-hmm. It has that vibe to it. That same vibe when we were kids, that same kind of vibe that I've got here that I feel. And it's something that wasn't until recently, until after Dad started living with me full time, that I really started calling this home. Even after we sold Mom and Dad's house, that was still home. This was Parma. And it's been a couple of years recently where I start thinking of this is now home, and it's that connection. I always have. You can take the kid out of Euclid, but you can't take the Euclid out of the kid. That's always going to be a part of me. Just like with Dick here, he's a billionaire. He's lived in Wayne Manor. He's lived in all the other manors. He's lived in Titan Towers. But he's still that circus kid. He's still that grassroots kind of kid. And I love that we get this connection. You get these, again, the somber moment of between them is what's going on Earth. Because you do need a reminder every so often that Earth is being destroyed. Earth is being turned into apocalypse. The reason everybody's off the planet is because Darkseid won. We have this Hail Mary pass going on. Maybe that we can revert back to the way it was. But guess what? Right now, they're planning not for that. And I love that there's always going to be that remembrance of, hey, we lost. The heroes lost.
And to your point about the tournament, I loved Raven reflecting on the tournament. Yeah. And Raven naturally, because of just her history and everything that's gone on with her, she's going to go to the worry about what's going to happen with this. And she does it with Victor, even with everything that he has built in and his technology that gives him some advantages in this tournament. If he survives the tournament is going to be, and I mean, that's the real thing. This is a death tournament. So that's something they're worried about. And I love Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson still is that beacon of hope. And I love that we've got to have faith. And I personally believe we're going to come out of this fine, all of us. And I do believe that's Dick. He's human. He's got to have his doubts and fears as well. But him being that guy to kind of say, I got to be the leader right now. I've got to. This is something that Dick Grayson does when he's in a group. Yeah, he remembers the need of, let's get that out on the table. I really do believe he believes that, too. But he believes it from a very human standpoint of there's still those fears. He's not invalidating her. He's painting the other side.
Yeah.
And Dick does just such a good – it's really strong writing again because of the way that their interactions feel just so authentic and feel like a conversation between two friends with varying personalities and various experiences growing up who just know each other really well.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah. And again, I love the idea that, and especially love the fact that he's like, hey, we're going to be fine. I'm sure Donna and Roy are fine. And meanwhile, they've got an armada. They've got Granny Goodness and all of them about to attack them. And he's, of course, Cyborg. We have no idea what's going on with Cyborg. So I do love the fact that as Dick's trying to be positive and optimist, which he is, we're seeing, well, it's not exactly good going there. We've got issues. All the teams have issues. And none of them can communicate with each other.
And well, Beast Boy and Beast Girl are just a trip and a half because they're on a planet that was supposed to be uninhabited, and there's alien life everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're contending with that. It was just such an interesting piece. They don't have time to reflect too much on that, though, because they start having their own issues. And it really turns into Jinx taking over Gemworld. She's captured the entire royal family and is tapping into their power set. So she's now been amped up to a level that she never has before. What a good use of this character. It's funny. I was flipping back to the page where you mentioned seeing her in the mirror image, and I totally get why you thought it was M'gann. When you take a look at the artwork, especially with it being in the mirror like that, I could see it very much looking like M'gann. The use of Jinx in this was absolutely perfect, though, and they give you within the issue. There's multiple like cliffhangers that continue on. I mean, we do get the rest of the story, but there's so many cool reveals in this because they did it with Granny Goodness and the team. And before they give us any feedback on what's going on with Jinx any further, they flash us over to that Granny Goodness battle.
Yeah.
Which I love that she was not left alone. We get to see the Green Lantern Corps. Obviously, they weren't all entered into the battle. So because of that, some of them are still around protecting the universe. And I loved seeing the Green Lantern Corps step in. So Corey's got some backup. And I like that their thing here was, we are not stopping off to have a fight unnecessarily. We are going to help you and the survivors get away from all of this and get somewhere safe. That was, I thought, that focus was great. They didn't chase after Granny Goodness. They let them go after Earth. We're going to take them and keep moving on because our goal here is survival. Our goal is keeping everyone alive. That was a really good writing process there.
Yes.
Because to me, that's exactly what their focus would be. Too many people, too many lives at stake right now. This felt I mentioned Battlestar Galactica last time we were talking about all this. This felt very Battlestar Galactica. Survival. This is all about survival right now, and that is the priority focus. And I really like that we didn't take the time to put in an unnecessary battle that would have made no sense in the context of what was going on there. It was a great show of power, but the power was in survival. It was cool.
And I also like the fact that Granny Goodness didn't break ranks.
Yes.
Oh, because again, Granny Goodness has their orders from Darkseid.
Yep.
Their orders are to go to Earth, not to stop this people from fleeing. Mm-hmm. Granny Goodness is following her orders as well. So I like the fact that both parties, the Green Lantern Corps came in, threw up their energy bubbles, got the people away from harm's way. Granny Goodness said, "Hey, let them go. We're not after them. We follow our orders." And I love seeing, again, one, it's her orders are based out of fear because it's Darkseid. You don't want to deny Darkseid.
Not after what he did to Calabac.
Nope. But also, I do like seeing the structure that it's not just all free-for-all. They've got their order. They've got their organization. So that, for me, was a really cool, neat usage of this. And again, I love how the story laid out, because they're like, you get ready, you get the page, you're thinking, okay, we're about to have an epic fight. Because I remember last issue when it was Corey was there and Granny showed up, I'm like, oh, we're about to have an epic fight. And I'm thinking, okay, they've got Superman, John in the thing. And I'm like, I'm going through my head, what space powered people? I was thinking the Green Lanterns were going to jump into the fray, and so they did here. But then they swerved us again, saying, oh no, there's not going to be this epic battle. Both parties are doing their own thing. They're separating. Yeah. That for me was absolutely brilliant, because I'm expecting A, I get B, and I'm like, oh, that is awesome. That makes sense. That fits these characters. That fits the story they're telling. I love it.
What they did here with Blackfire, I thought was really cool. Having the Tamarinian escort helping, I can say it, having that escort come through, and she knew right away it meant her sister was involved. I'm going to be curious to see because that relationship is always an iffy one. I'm going to be curious to see what this looks like. Because you and the Earthlings owe your lives to Queen Blackfire. What does that mean?
Yeah, because initially the Titans were going to the lunar base.
Right.
Does that mean they're not going to the lunar base now? Are they going on to Tamara or Tamara?
Tamaran.
Tamaran. How are they going on to there? Are we getting a pivot?
Yeah.
Because that'd be interesting. Because the lunar base is kind of safe. I think that would be safer, but
sort of.
Because there is always, you got to accept the Queen's rule there, and not exactly known for her kindness and compassion, is she?
I do like the battle with Jinx and what ends up going on there, because you get this really sense, like we've gotten this, so far the squads have gotten some help, well at least Corey did. There is no help coming for these two. So I loved seeing how this played out, and the only source that they have of potential help was the guest. And I like that. I knew right away who the guest was because of the last issue. Yeah. Yeah, because of the last issue. And I was glad to see her in there, because we know already she's not on the up and up. And she's going to take advantage of this situation as soon as she can. But there is a survival need for Tara. And I do think letting Tara out is the right move. Tara is going to be helpful in this. She's got a reason to be helpful, because it actually fits her agenda. If she can earn some trust here, she can use that to further leverage herself in this process. Yes. So it winds up being a win-win for her to do this. This is great. Really good handling in all of this.
Oh, big time. Big time. And I love the release. Talk about, again, the art team, the look on Tara's face when she's released, and the look on Raven's face. And please don't make me regret this. The look on Tara's face is kind of like, oh yeah, let's see what we got going on here. I love that. This, again, brilliant usage of what we laid on last issue. They go into this one, and again, get you thinking off page. Will Tara help them? Will Tara just side with Jinx, saying, hey, let's say you and me do this now? But both of them don't share well with others.
No.
So can they work together? I don't know. Is Tara just going to help out the team and earn some brownie points so she doesn't get put back in the jail cell, so she could maybe later escape or maybe later do something else? Who knows? You never know where Tara's brain's going to go. I love that. And the other thing, the little subtle thing that they did, they explained how Jinx was able to get a hold of all of the heads of all the families.
Yes.
All the families were there to discuss how they're going to handle these refugees. Because not all of them are going to sit in Amethyst. They're going to get spread throughout all the kingdoms. And they were all present to get to discuss how are we going to handle these refugees, where are we going to put them, and all that kind of fun stuff. So it made sense why Jinx was able to get a hold of them. And also, Jinx's power set, why she's able to, as soon as she gets control, her powers get amped up dramatically. I loved how all this stuff they explained away brilliantly within the context of the story. I love this.
So it ends off with the cyborg sequence where we get to see him entering into this battle. And next month is going to be Fight Month in December, which is going to be a couple of weeks. We're going to start covering Fight Month. And I'm excited to be talking about that with everything's going on there. But I love seeing beforehand this sense of weight on the shoulders of the various heroes that are going into this. And Cyborg's going into it. Cyborg obviously is very intelligent. A lot of strategy involved in Cyborg. We forget about that a lot of times. He's walking into this one knowing that he's got to give everything to this, and the odds aren't good, but he's got to keep on fighting because this is what he does. He's trying to protect everybody. And I love the continued growth of this character. This is at the core, everything we loved about the character from when he started with Wolfman and Perez all those years ago, seeing this character here and now foundationally evolving and continuing to grow, but yet being that same guy. I love Vic Stone, and their handling of him in this was just a really great ending of this. I'm so excited to see. Clearly, we're going to see more of him next issue, and I'm excited to see what the battle looks like.
Yeah, dude. I'm just going to echo everything you just said. They are handling him so well that this event and this team, this Titans team writing, this Titans creative team.
Yeah.
I am so happy right now because all the characters that I really like are getting such a great spotlight.
Yep.
That it's like, man, this is awesome. This has been a true just joy on my part.
Yeah, it's the creators that are involved in these side issues and the expanded storytelling that's going on here are truly playing in the sandbox. They're taking advantage of this event and telling really strong stories. It can stand on their own, but my gosh, when you put them with DCKO, I did not know. I'm going to echo myself what I've said. I did not know that that's what this event was going to be. And this is really cool. Can we talk about issue 2? DC?
Yes.
So issue 2 is called Chapter 2, Objects in Motion. And Scott Snyder is the writer. Joshua Williamson on the interlude. We've got Javier Fernandez on art. Zermanico is the artist on the interlude. Alejandro Sanchez on colors. Hassan Atsmain El Hadu on letters. Marquise Draper, associate editor. Paul Kaminsky, editor. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Supergirl's based on the characters created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. And apologies for any name butchery there at all. This book has been fantastic. I actually want to start off with, I love how when you do these page flips, you get to the cover without the DCKO covering and you actually get to see that full cover. I love seeing the statues that are there, obviously indicating the fallen, but also get to start seeing what's happening with them trying to grab some of these objects. You get to see Lobo, you get to see Harlequin, you get to see Superman and Wonder Woman starting to grab items, kind of teasing you into what this issue is going to be about. And the Fallen make me sad. Look at this. Some of my favorites are sitting there, especially when you see Billy, who's probably the heaviest hitter out of the batch that's there. Standing there as one of the ones that were in the early Fallen. I do like that they have Ambush Bug as one of the ones that's featured.
You gotta have the bug.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have the bug. Come on.
Hal, though, I say that Billy is one of the biggest ones. I should go back a little bit and go, strong argument can be made for Hal as well. He was on the shelf pretty early in all of this.
He didn't even make it to the final.
No.
Well, he didn't make it to the tournament. He got eliminated in the initial arena, which, again, guys there. So, but Hal's a heavy hitter. But it's funny because I was thinking about stuff like that. And I was thinking, I understand why they put Hal there. But if I was the Green Lantern Corps, I would have done the more eggs in one basket. I would have kept Hal out. I would have kept Kyle out. And I probably would have put John and Guy in the tournament. Again, keeping the other two out to help with the escort, to help with the relocation. Now, granted, I understand they threw everything in there, all the heavy hitters they could, because they have to generate the Omega energy and all that kind of, all that story-wise, so it makes sense.
Well, you want the people that can win.
Right. But see, for me, I would have put only two Green Lanterns in the tournament. Is how I would have organized it in my head. If I was like thinking this,
even though if they lose, it's the end of everything.
Well, that's why I was picking Guy and John. Those are your two better chances of the warrior combat kind of stuff.
With Hal's experience, you would have left Hal out, huh?
I think I would have.
Because I would have. I completely disagree. Well, go ahead and tell me why. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hal, to me, I don't see Hal as the tournament fighter kind of guy. I see him more of, he's a hero. He's got a lot of experience on this side, etc. And people will argue he's the best Lantern of all. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But to me, in this kind of combat situation, in this type of arena, I would rather have more of my fighters. I would rather have more of my sluggers. Hal is he's an awesome Green Lantern, but I don't know if he, in my mind, like Kilowog is another one. I would put Kilowog in the tournament. Kilowog's a slugger. He's a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
I think your reading experience with Hal's very different than mine.
Yeah.
Hal would be in there for me right away.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't yank either of the other two for a lot of the reasons that you're stating. And I would make an argument with you. I would throw Kilowog in there too for the reasons that you're saying. He's one of the trainers. This is the end of everything.
Right.
because of Darkseid doing that. So Kilowog, it makes sense to plug him in there for the reasons that you're thinking. I would put Hal in there, though, because here's what you don't know, what they're facing. They don't 100% know what they're facing.
Right.
I'm sending the best of the best in there, hoping that one of them is best suited for this. I don't know how you strategize for this, because you don't know the nature of it. Because here's what they couldn't have predicted. Think about what already happened in issue 1 of this. They couldn't have predicted what it took to even get to the doorway.
Right.
So I think because of the unpredictable nature of all this, you've got to send your best of the best in there. So I think every justification you're making for everybody you say that needs to be in there is 1,000% valid. I think Hal needs to be in there for the same justification. You've got to send your best of the best. Kyle is an interesting one, because I make an argument that Kyle's like your sleeper hit of the Green Lanterns. I don't think he gets a lot of credit, but think about what Kyle's accomplished.
Yeah, I know.
He's another one that you got to sit there and go, do we leave him out? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, because almost every reason I'm stating Hal should be in there, I'm kind of thinking maybe you send the artist in and let him paint a picture on this one, see what happens. I guess the question becomes, where do you stop? And I don't know how you answer that question when it's the end of everything. I think the question is, how do we keep people safe? Nice part is so I guess Baz and Cruz, in my end, make sense to leave out for sure. Not because they aren't talented Green Lanterns. I would make an argument they're seasoned enough that they can be doing exactly what we've seen Jessica Cruz do in Teen Titans number 29. But I would not put them into this.
Right.
They would be where I draw the line. Kyle, though, is another one I'd be like, maybe we bump him in. Maybe we bump him into this one. Because I think you've got to stack the deck on...
I see what you're saying, and I can go along with that. And again, they obviously did that. They threw out all the stuff in there, but it does the balance on, and I think that's
it is a core, though. Remember, keep in mind, you aren't throwing all the Green Lanterns in there.
Right.
But yes, a majority of the Earth ones are going in there. Fortunately, Earth happens to have a ton of them.
Yeah.
So even if you threw Kyle in there too, and Hal, and everybody else, and Kilowog, you throw them in there, you still got Baz and Cruz out there running around.
Right.
So, I mean, we're lucky. Earth happens to have a plethora of Green Lanterns.
Earth has a lot of Green Lanterns.
Yeah, but
for one per section.
Yeah. But really what they're trying to do is save everybody just in case because they're assuming this is going to fail.
Well, you got a plan for it.
Or at least they're planning for if it fails. I shouldn't say they're assuming it's going to. They're hopeful. This interlude's cool, and I'm glad that we got a chance to shout out the interlude team, because I really love seeing them sitting around with Lois, the Trinity, and having this conversation. And I like that this conversation leads into, what would you do if you weren't you? You know, if you weren't Wonder Woman, if you weren't Batman, if you weren't Superman, and this wasn't your path, what do you think your life would be? What would you want it to be? And I like how they're trying to kind of, I like the idea of the tour guide for Wonder Woman. And at first, it comes off as joking, but I love the idea for national parks, historic sites, showing people the beauty, the humility. And I like that Diana's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of acceptable. Yep. And the idea of Bruce being a doctor, and boy, was that hitting home. Yeah. And I like he's under his breath, bad doctor.
And again, that makes sense.
Sure it does.
I like that. I like that notion that Bruce would be a doctor. He would have followed in his father's footsteps if the whole bat thing hadn't happened.
The dialogue's great, though. Yeah, I hate this game. Tim's fucked. I do like that Bruce looks at Superman and goes, "You'd be president." And I love that his justifications are really, really good. And I was Team Bruce on this one. I actually like where the debate goes and where Clark goes with this. I think it's really great.
And I love how they broke up the debate. They did the interlude here, and you're like, again, it was funny because like, you'd be president. Oh, come on, you can't be serious. Oh, I'm serious. And even Clarkson, it's like, you're way off on this, Bruce. I remember the first time I'm reading this, I'm like, I kind of agree with Clark on this one, Bruce. He wouldn't have been, if he wasn't Superman, he wouldn't be president. In my head, I was thinking farmer or teacher. That kind of is where I was thinking if Clark wasn't Superman, if Clark wasn't, if he wasn't a reporter, if he couldn't be a reporter, those are the two areas I was thinking for Clark. And I love the fact that this is just the opening and it flips to the actual event. And then later we get the interlude where we get that discussion between Clark and Bruce about why Bruce is a president. I love how they broke that up. And I love how they use the interlude in this as part of the storytelling process. They did it in issue 1. They're continuing on in issue 2. This is outstanding.
This idea of each of these phases is meant to have them take the same journey that Darkseid did to become King Omega. And they now have this quest for, there's only half of them are going to be able to get an item of power from their realm. And that item of power they're going to be taking with them into, I think, in the next phase of battle.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which is really interesting, but it is this quest now to get these items of power. If you don't get one, you're dead. You're not just not going on to the next round. You're done. You're dead.
Yeah,
like
that's it. Game over.
This is a game of life and death. This tournament. I love all of the different items and tchotchke sword killers and Adam's belt and cosmic rods, a lasso of truth. This Claw of Horus, all these type of pieces. And I love that some of them have a unique connection to some of these objects. So they're able to track them down through their senses and it'll draw them to them. That's both a gift and an Achilles heel because there's a predictability to what they're going to go after. And I just really love the way that this is all laid out.
Well, and I love how they did this. They did this tournament. Because once again, I keep saying this over. I'm going to say it again. This is not what I was expecting. I was thinking this would be just the heroes fighting it out. They'd give them a couple pages of a battle. The fight would be over. No, they did this first round of fighting, and it was them scrambling for these items. It wasn't a one-on-one fight like I was expecting to see. The one-on-one fights are going to happen next round. We're going to see that next round. This first round was them scrambling for the different devices, for the different items. Yeah. And I loved how they ended up playing off and eliminating people not in a traditional tournament sense. So once again, the story is taking me not to where I thought it was going to go. And I love that.
Well, what's great about it is we haven't really gotten into the individual fights yet. We are clearing out, it's almost like a battle royal.
Yeah.
Where we're now, they had to fight to get to the battle royal. Now they've gotten to the battle royal. In the battle royal, there can only be so many winners. So 32 is being cut in half. And this whole thing and the heavy focus on Superman and Lex Luthor in this was so good. They weren't the only ones that there was a focus on. And there were some really good players in this one, and we're going to talk about them. But this kind of thing where Superman's like, I am not letting Lex win this. And Lex has the same idea in this scenario. I love that Clark picks him up by the ankle and just throws him.
Yes.
It just shows a very different level to Clark right now in understanding what this is. They really were dead set on, we do not want the villains winning this one. And they have not wavered or bent from that at all.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. And I loved it's just the dialogue that's coming from the Heart of Apocalypse. And I love the fact that the Heart of Apocalypse is the narrator in this series.
Yeah.
And I love how he describes how they all scatter, except for Clark. Clark is watching to see what Lex, and I love the fact that Clark is, even round 1, Clark was doing this. He wasn't completely playing the game, and Bruce told him, you got to play the game when he died. When Bruce got killed, he was telling Clark, game up. You got to do that. And then even in this round, he's still not completely playing the game. I love that.
The Joker getting the belt, because I mean we see that cool fight with Wonder Woman and Etrigan, and them having the history that they have from Justice League Dark and stuff like that all works for me. But Giganta comes in and it looks like it's going to go in a certain direction. We talked about this last time we talked about DCKO and the Joker being a player in this. We are seeing the danger that he brings to the table.
Yes.
He is chaos. He is vicious. You cannot trust him to do anything other than what he's doing right now. He is going to do the things that nobody else would do, As people are running and scrambling and stuff, he's picking them up and eating them.
Yes.
I mean, this is the Joker at his absolute worst or best. I don't know what you want to call that. It's one of those two, and maybe you could argue for both. It's such a cool sequence.
Well, then one thing, if you would have said Joker gets the Atom Belt, I never once would have remotely thought about where this went.
Right.
This, again, I love how I'm completely surprised that Joker gets the belt. And I'm like, I never thought of it. Then he goes and he crushes it. And I love the fact that she's like, Joker, what are you doing? We're on the same side. Oh, right. I forgot. Squash. And he starts grabbing people and just throwing them in the ball. I'm like, oh, my God, this is absolutely... Never once did these thoughts enter my head. I love this.
It's brilliant strategy on his part.
Oh, God.
Let's clear out the playing field.
Yeah.
Like, he's really, at the end of the day, and this is supposed to go from 32 to 16. What if it doesn't? I like that the Joker's not playing by rules off of this. He's like, this is a tournament to the death. I'm going to embrace that one and play this my way. And I see him doing everything he can to organically not follow rules, because he just doesn't.
Yeah.
He brings a chaos into this that just works really well. I love seeing Plastic Man versus Metamorpho.
Yeah.
And Plastic Man thinks he's got it in the bag because he enhanced himself and all that. And I like that Metamorpho's like, this is an example of where sometimes these monologues are going to work against you. He basically told Metamorpho what to do to beat him.
Thank you.
That was great.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah. And I love the fact that then Starro, who I never really thought of as a talker, he's like, I got it too slow. You were saying, switch, with Jay Garrick swooping in to get it at the last minute.
Yep.
I love that. That was awesome.
Harley Quinn winds up, because we see Guy obviously going after the ring of the Speed Force ring. And I love that Harley grabs it. And, if there's one person I would give a Speed Force ring to make an interesting story, it's Harley Quinn.
Oh, God, yes. Yes. Oh, dude, man, I was like, this is outstanding. Because I love the fact he was like, guy's like, I can't have too many rings. Pow, out of nowhere, Harley bops him in the head, takes the ring. And again, this was really cool way to show how they do the combat, how they do the first level. I'm loving this, man.
Luthor and the fact that kryptonite is available all over the place. And I love that they're pulling into current continuity and just saying, hey, look, you can get kryptonite anywhere. Lex always seems to have had his storehouse of it, but man, does he know how to use it. And what he did with the blade, like chopping off Superman's hand, this I did not see coming at all. And I love when you get to see a battle like this. So early on. I mean, we're in issue 2 of this, and he's chopped off Superman's hand in this battle.
Yeah, that's like what the heck? And I love where this went.
Yes.
Because, again, this is a great fight between them. Lex is doing his kryptonite thing. He's just giving Clark the beatdown. Those two are just fighting each other instead of looking for items. And I think that was a kind of a neat thing. And just the cutoff of the hand. And just, again, showing Luthor being Luthor, being the dominant force that he is on this. You gotta love when you have a villain who's just as powerful as the hero.
Yep.
Just as much as Joker is the agent of chaos, Luthor is another one of those where Luthor could actually win this. He's got a level of power, plus he's got a level of strategy. He's got what it takes, and it's, again, the slice of the hand, him just sitting there basically kneeling, completely defeated. And I do love the fact that what all Lex does is shoot some of the shards of the green kryptonite in the body, not to kill him. He just wants to take Clark off the table so Clark can watch him win. I love that.
This is interesting. I love Lex's monologue with him. I know how much you like to listen to heartbeats, so listen now. Do you hear them? All up there? Full of longing and fear. They want your vision. Maybe they didn't in another time, but they do in this one because things have changed. The center has fallen apart and everybody feels it. In this era, people are begging for a hero who will fix their problems, the wars, the death, the misery, the terror of it all. They want you to save them. What the Phantom Zone taught me is that I do too. But you never will, because deep down you're a coward, Superman. That was my epiphany. Now, excuse me, well, I'll do what you won't, and I'll save the world. I loved that. So cool. It's such a vicious Lex Luthor. And his disdain for Superman seems to be continuously evolutionary.
Well, and again, it further shows on Lex Luthor doesn't see himself as the bad guy.
Right.
He is the one who's going to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
Superman is the bad guy in the story. And I love how that plays out. I love how those are the best Luthor stories are when he's written that way. And so we're getting that version of Luthor in this story. And I was excited for that because those make for the best stories.
The idea, too, of Lex, and this comes up in the issue as well, the idea that you could have come to us. Like, you could have come to us, and instead of, like, prisoning us, you could have partnered with us. We could have done this together because we can do some of the things that you can't. Lex's philosophy isn't, like, there's a point to what Lex is saying.
Yeah.
I know that's throwing out the window the fact that can I trust any of you, which is a whole other thing. But I would make a strong argument that Lex, you probably could on this one because of just who Lex is. The rest of that lot you can't really bring, but Lex you could. The Guy Gardner and Hawkman situation with the Claw of Horus, he made me chuckle. Not again.
Guy Gardner for the win. Nope. Denied. I do, yeah. Little chuckling thing. And I do like the fact that, again, Cyborg's drawn to the mother box so he could find it right away. Nobody around him. And he's like, okay, bing, let's rock and roll. I like seeing Lobo get the Venom. I thought that, again, that fit him so well with Venom. But the bits then with Starro, I love the fact that he sit there and he rips Starro apart. Yeah, what? Fact about starfish is we regenerate. One Starro turns into like 5. And I'm like, oh, that is awesome.
And replicate, which is funny. He didn't say that, but my gosh, what was going on there? And I like the Starro League makes a comeback.
Yep.
It was great to see the Justice League and Zatanna trying to plead with Diana, reach Diana, and found a way using the sword, Thor's hammer, to bring down the lightning on the Starros. Well, it was cool to see Thor's hammer used in the DC universe.
Yeah, and again, it was funny. I don't remember seeing Thor's hammer in DC universe.
Remember when Wonder Woman went over?
When Wonder Woman crossed over, I remember that one, but I didn't remember.
Well, that is
coming back. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's that hammer. All right, I'm assuming it's that Thor because Thor has been established as a part of the DC universe because Wonder Woman went over there. I'm guessing that's where my justification in my head was it's that hammer.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
I'm guessing. But I could be wrong. I'm just throwing it out there. That kind of established for me that the Norse gods exist in this realm. Seeing Red Hood wind up grabbing the Blue Beetle armor, and going right away for the Joker was such a cool sequence of events. And I love he's like, damn it, where did he go when he shrunk down? Because the belt goes both ways.
Yep.
And he went into Barda's head.
Dude, man, again.
Joker.
Yeah. Joker being chaos right there. And again, I loved seeing that because Barda's a heavy hitter. If you're going to take somebody out, that's a great way to take her out. Go into the brain, rip her brain apart from the inside.
Right.
Done. And again, it shows how dangerous the Atom can be. And we saw that. We've seen that a couple of times where Atom is in places he shouldn't be, or somebody in the Atom belt is someplace they shouldn't be. So I like how it played out.
The quest for the Thunderbolt was cool.
The Thunder Pen.
Yeah, the Thunder Pen I thought was really cool. I especially Etrigan grabbing it and that team up continuing. That whole piece was Zatanna's use in this. I thought was really good. I loved seeing like the magic users and Swamp Thing being integrated into all this. They have smaller bits in this, but I love how they keep like shifting the focus to various artifacts, so we get to see how they are gradually claimed. Even though the big main event story remains Superman and Lex Luthor, we do get plenty of time with the other artifacts that are there, which I thought was great.
And I love seeing, again, Star Sapphire blast go all there. She and Luther are going for the rings. And I love the fact that she's got a connection to it. Luther's got his connection to it because he has his probes out there and all the scanners and whatnot. He could sense the power. And I love the fact that she initially is like, hey, I got score the win, a love for the win. And Luther's like, not necessarily. I grab one of the rings. And again, Luther gets the black ring.
Yep.
And I love the fact that she's like, keep it. There's no dead to control. Are you sure about that? I love the fact that Luther is able to control the dead, and they're on a planet of dead people.
The elder gods. Dead elder gods.
The dead elder gods. I love that. I was like, oh, that is awesome. That is a cool fight.
Well, and this goes back to the dead elder gods that Darkseid took down way back when.
Yeah.
Which this kind of backfires on Lex because it does clue into Clark think back to what Darkseid actually did. I think in many ways he gave Clark the answer by what he did. Without realizing that he was doing it, it cued Clark. I did this flashback to the interlude, which I thought was super cool, the interlude part 2, which is you were talking about earlier. Boy, this is an example of when it's great to use a different creative on interludes. Especially with different art and everything, you needed these to stand out as being something different, a different time, a different place, calm before the storm, so to speak. And this did that in droves, especially when you place it right here. Went back to this comfort zone, hanging out with them, and I love when we started to see some friends who, they're having some very tough conversations. Yeah. And Clark's even saying to him, oh, hey, Bruce, we're supposed to be having fun here. Like, what's your issue? And Clark's talking through where his head's at, saying, president wouldn't have been my thing. And I love that he said, I wouldn't have been a politician. And Clark really being very serious on that piece. And Bruce bringing up the fact, though, but you do that. You have him in Superman. Bruce's justification was really interesting there in his view of how Clark uses Superman as a symbol. And he's not wrong.
No.
And I just love the debate because it forces Clark and really all of them to take a good, hard look at each other. And Bruce sometimes in his delivery comes off as harsh. Yeah. But this is very much a Bruce conversation where Bruce is like, Clark, this is how I see you. And this is how I think you use Superman.
Well, I love the fact that he throws out to Clark, you're a strategist, just like me and Diana.
Yep.
But in your own way. And I do like the fact that all three of them do have that going on for them.
You do know it's strategist and not strategist because of the fact that you always say strategy. Like, strategist is not a word.
Yes, it is. In my world, it's a word, all right? But seriously, okay, I do love, and again, it does look into, now, part of me was wondering that, we have this interlude, but in reality, this interlude never actually happened, if you think about it. Because this interlude, hold on, hear me out before you let me down.
No, I'm not. But you're seeing a puzzled look on my face, which people can't see. Listen, Jim and I are actually back on camera again, which we've been doing for months now. It's like we're in the room together, but like back in the old days, which is a lot of fun. I was not going to stop you at all. I'm actually intrigued by where you're going with this, so please keep continuing. I'm not seeing it that way, but please.
This game night happened right before Darkseid attacked. We never got this game night because instead of having the game night, they were preparing the Earth for the
Earth. Yeah.
So this never actually happened. So I'm wondering,
holy crap,
if this is all in Clark's head. Because you think back,
or if we're seeing what actually did happen if the game night occurred.
Right.
Like, because the game night did happen. I mean, there is a continuity where the game night happened.
Right.
So, but I think you're like. Here's the thing: you're right. This has not happened yet.
Yeah, this Clark never happened for him. So it's kind of interesting.
It happened? It happened for him because they may have that game night.
They may still have it. I don't know. We may still get the game night. We may not. It's one of those neat things because that was something. Part of me wonders because you see, this is. Right after this is where we get to the part where Clark really starts using his brain, starts using the strategy side of it, and he starts figuring out all the pieces on the mystery superpowered item that's out there.
Yeah, yeah.
I love, again, also like, ooh, is this all going on inside his head?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I mean, that's, well, see, so my take on this is it actually happened. Well, the question is, will it happen now? Because the way timey-wimey things go, there was a timeline where this did happen before Darkseid came back. So here's the weird stuff. This did happen in the past, future, but is it going to happen in the now future? I don't know. Who knows?
Future, yes. In the new future, who knows? I don't know.
So I'm not taking this as in Clark's head. I'm taking this as what the game might look like if it had gone off as originally planned, and may go off that way. Who knows?
Yeah, and again, I do love the fact that Clark jabs a shard of kryptonite in his heart, kills himself
to do what Darkseid did.
To get the Omega sanction. Mm-hmm. So now Clark has the Omega power.
He had a Luke Skywalker moment. He looked at his hand and he's like, hey, this is what Darkseid did.
Yep. I love that. And again, is this... Now, the thing I wonder is the next round of fighting, do they continue on with these weapons? Are we going to get next round? Superman has the Omega sanction, and Joker's got his the Atom belt, all that stuff. I want to know. I'm curious about that. That's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, it's interesting that Clark decimated with the Omega sanction, and wow, this is. Let's see, those of you with items in your possession, congratulations, you move on. Yeah, so I wonder what happens with those items. It doesn't say anything about the items not being with them moving forward. It also doesn't say they're gonna be.
Right. Yeah, because you see the next panel of the surviving 16 champions move on, and when you look at their images, none of them have the weapons.
Right. Right.
Clark even has both hands, but who knows? I don't know yet.
Clark was healing his hand to a certain extent.
Really giving it,
yeah. Here's the thing. Did he heal his hand, or was that an energy hand? Because there was an energy hand, but was that him healing it fully? Who knows? Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens. Do they have the weapons or not?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I didn't see what weapon Aquaman grabbed. Did you?
I don't remember what weapon Aquaman grabbed. I'm looking back and seeing the pages there. The Cosmic Rod.
Oh, okay. He got the Cosmic Rod. Okay.
Yeah, it was when Firestorm had the star on his face.
Yeah.
Aquaman already had the Cosmic Rod in his hand.
Okay.
So he got the Cosmic Rod. Good question. The Watchtower on the last page, right at the last page, finishing with... So here's the problem here. Did he kill Time Trapper? Because there's a...
Crunch?
Yeah.
And... do you really want to kill a Doomsday? Because he said he was one death away from being omnipotent.
Right.
Did Darkseid just mess up? I don't know. Because I saw that as well, and I'm like, I don't know if that's just him grabbing him with force, or if that's him, because his head isn't turned. So it's not like he twisted the neck or he didn't crush his neck, because it's still one solid piece. But I do wonder what's going to happen next. Again, I love that. I love how we keep getting this,
And he's planning to enter the arena. So now he's the wild card entering in right now. It's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. Hey, when we flip the page here, there's a story that I want us to be able to do. I don't know how we're going to fit this one in. I want to do JSA Year 1.
Yes, me too. I agree.
I think that's going to be just a cool story to do. So DCKO continues on. This is going all the way to March. March is going to be the wrap-up with issue 5. There's quite a lineup coming up, and we're going to do our best to cover all of it as we keep going forward. Let's continue on to Superman. All right, Superman 32, Man of Apocalypse Part 2. Joshua Williamson is the writer, Eddie Barrows on art, and Aber Ferreira. The colorist is Alejandro Sanchez. The letterer is Ariana Mayer. Cover artist is Dan Mora. Variant cover artists are David Aja, Sebu Fiumara. It's KYUYONGEOM NOOBOVICH. Our cover artists. Assistant editor is Jillian Grant. The editor's Paul Kaminsky. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Supergirl based on the characters created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Superboy created by Jerry Siegel by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. And apologies for any name butchery there. I love this creative team and what they're doing with this book right now. First of all, I got to start with that Dan Mora cover with the standoff between Superman and Lex Luthor. He's just killing it. Dan Mora is just a great artist.
Dude, man, yes.
Then you flip on the inside and you've got Eddie Barrows. I mean, this book has just this is a marquee book in what's going on here. This is absolutely gorgeous. The Superwoman piece of she was loving teaming up with Clark and this idea of she lost the powers. And we got to see that. And I like that Mr. Terrific even says, that isn't to say they can't return. We'll need to run more tests. They don't know, did those powers go back to the original owner? So there is a surprise element to the fact that, yes, she has powers again now. That was an unknown quantity.
Yes.
So I love the surprise aspect of all of that. And I do love that Superboy Prime is giving the exclamation of the commentary. Well, this is an event that I love him. I absolutely adore the use of him and the writing with him on this piece. I do think when Lois is telling about the tournament, I'm like, I don't know that this is a guy you want knowing there's a tournament going on.
Well, and again, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I laugh the fact that he's like, if we had that discussion before about which Green Lantern we would want in the tournament.
Yes.
Superboy Prime in the tournament? Because I say, heck yeah.
You know what the problem is, though? Do you want him making the decision at the end?
That would be a tough one. But again, I don't know.
Oh, as far as his ability to maybe win the tournament, I get your point. But he's like having the Joker win almost.
Almost. But is it he is the chaos, but the fact that he sees into the fourth wall, the fact that he knows what's going on.
Yeah, but do you want that head making a decision at the end on how to put everything back together?
Dude, we could have a 1970s DC universe come back again.
Yeah, I see. Dude, we've seen what happens when he's got power before. Look what happened with Infinite Crisis.
True.
Yeah, let's do that again. No, he should not be in the tournament. I'm glad that he's not. I do love that Lara's picture stays up for so long in this, just because of the connection that she made with Lois in those sequences. And I love that this quest is, we've got to get this information to Clark. There is some major reveals about Doomsday. And we were basically thinking about this, what happens with this reveal about Doomsday. And I love that Lois is recognized. I love when we as readers are connecting so clearly with the characters in the story. And her urgency, I think, is just awesome. This book does some of my favorite things during an event when they give us just kind of a recap of where Superman's at and everything that's going on. Just saying that there's going to be some people reading this that maybe aren't reading DCKO. We're going to give you everything you need right now to be able to jump onto this story. And I think that stuff is great. I think it does entice readers to read the event if they're not already, but it does for your readers that are only reading this title. They are able to get a complete story. I love when they do this. I think it serves a purpose for our current readers. I'm a broken record with this, but I just appreciate it. I think it's a very smart thing to do. It takes a couple of pages just to do what they're doing right here and gives you everything you need, taking us to that 1 week ago.
Well, and again, if you're going to throw out images, the image of Batman getting killed is absolutely outstanding. To your point where if you're not reading DCKO and you see that page, you're like, wait, Batman, what happens there? That could draw somebody into wanting TKO big time. And I love, like you, I love the fact that this is kind of they don't spend too much time on it, but they give us just enough to bring you up to speed what's going on, where you're going. It's a great way to tie into the universe, especially when they show the little bit of Lex. They show the villains. They show all the different people. They have that great moment between Luthor and Superman in the middle time before the actual tournament started. I love seeing this especially because we're going to later find out which Lex this is. How did he get it pulled into the tournament when he was supposedly locked in the Phantom Zone? I love that.
Yeah, and I love that Grodd being there was the plant. They had Grodd there. Grodd let the team know his connection with Lex. I love that it plays right back into the storyline. He was feeding Lex the information. Yeah. And they used the T-Spears and 3D imaging. So they thought that those people were sent to the Phantom Zone because they were tricked into thinking they were sent to the Phantom Zone when they were actually sent to the Hall of Doom.
Yeah.
Which was great. And I love that when they get to the Hall of Doom, they're like, man, this place stinks. It'd be musty and neglected, right?
Yep. Oh, God, yeah.
Especially with having been in a swamp.
Yeah. One of the things I loved was with the rationality behind it. Once again, we're getting not, I want to be the villain to take over the universe. Mm-hmm. It's like they don't trust the heroes to do it the right way. They don't trust the heroes to actually be able to do what needs to be done.
Right.
Oh, and again, it's a tie-in to the stuff we saw in DCKO. Some of the speeches between Lex and Superman. They're keeping everything connected. And again, I love the fact that I was thinking originally that this Luthor, the Luthor in DCKO, wasn't our Luthor, but was that other time-lost Luthor that Grodd was connected to. But yeah. It really was and wasn't, because our Luthor is the older version of that Luthor. So he remembers the events that Luthor did. So this Luthor is that person, but he's not that person. Because this is the current universe Luthor, not the time-lost Luthor, but those two are still connected. If that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't. I think I probably confused myself in my explanation.
Yeah, what you said.
Once again, timey-wimey stuff. I love it.
Yeah. It is where this gets really heady as far as what's going on with the Legion, and their connection is in place because of what happened in that storyline, right, which is ultimately where you're going with this. I don't know that your explanation was wrong. I just think there's actually some truth to your explanation. I love Luthor's sitting there saying that he is the best suited to handle this.
Yeah.
He feels that he is the one. So his plan all along is not for the other ones to make sure that he winds up being the one that makes the decisions. Because he's recognizing this is very Highlander. There can be only one. And he wants himself to be the one, because I do think in his own mind, he means it. I am the best suited to do this.
And here's a funny thing. I honestly think that if Luthor wins and these villains help him win, he's not going to double-cross them. He doesn't need to. He's going to make himself out to be Luthor, so he's going to be good to go. But they're not going to be disappear. He may make heroes disappear, but I don't think he'd make them disappear if they work alongside.
Here's where I disagree with you. What is Lex's idea of a utopia, and how do they fit into that utopia? Lex, I see the same problems with Lex that I see with Superboy Prime.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Because here's the thing. His criticism of Clark is Clark would put everything back the way that it was.
Right.
Clark would preserve the Earth the way that it is, flaws and all.
Yeah.
Lex would try to make corrections. Prime would try to make corrections. The problem when you do that is the hero's criticism, going right back to the beginning of all this, was, we don't need to be rebooted again. We're going to forget everything. We want to, what about this life? This life means something. And they've been through that before. They know what that looks like. And I loved that they had that deep talk about that. I think the problem is they're right. I think Superman is the only one that would really preserve all of that.
Well, yes.
I think there's very few players on the table that would preserve. Think about it. If you got that power.
Right. Oh, God.
If I got that power.
I cannot have the power. But
I'm sitting here saying for myself, the temptation to tweak, change. Think about the current world right now. And think about how political we all are right now. So this is not us we're not going to go delve into our own personal politics and things like that. But think about as a culture how we're engineered right now to have certain thoughts being pushed either left or right and things like that. Imagine if you had that power now with where our mindsets are being forced right now.
Yeah.
Because we're being pushed that way by media, by those closest to us sometimes, to either we're one or the other. Imagine if you had that power now. It's wacky. And I love I love the idea that the heroes, I'm not saying he's the only one, but man, I'm having trouble thinking of who out of the batch that's in, who else in the tournament right now could win this and would preserve.
I think Wonder Woman would preserve it as well. I think she would preserve flaws and all, because she recognizes that's part of humanity. But she does, it is a tough call because it would 100% it'd be 100% a temptation to make changes. Like, hey, I'm just getting rid of drug dealers. I'm just getting rid of terrorists. I'm just getting rid of pedophiles. I'm just getting rid of these bad people. That's all I'm doing, And you
once you start down, all you do if you make one little tweak, it grows.
Yep. It turns to how far do you take it? What do you get rid of? What do you the old time travel story of killing baby Hitler.
Yes, yeah.
What does that create? Well, you get rid of baby Hitler. Okay. Then who takes his place? Maybe it's even worse. Maybe the person who takes Hitler's place actually wins the war. And now we've got the Third Reich actually won World War II. There's so many different variations on it's the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you are better off having someone who's just going to leave it, reboot it exactly how it was, flaws and all, not make any changes. But that is so hard to do. You think about it. Bruce, if he's not in the tournament, but if he was and he won, would he be tempted to bring back Alfred? I don't think he'd be tempted to bring back his parents because that made him Batman. But would he be tempted to bring back Alfred?
Well, here's the thing that you said, though.
Yeah.
So you bring back Alfred. Do you stop there?
That'd be a tough one. Yeah.
Once you cross the line, where do you stop? It's a unique piece. Like Diana, would she bring back Steve?
Oh God, yeah. And we saw.
And then where do you
saw in the movie? We saw in the movie what happened when she did.
Yeah. Then where do you stop?
Yeah. Oh, I just brought back Steve. That's all. He's a good guy. Oh, and there was that other guy. He's a really good guy. You start bringing people back. You start changing the fabric of society.
So with this Elseworlds thing that they're doing with the DC movies, it's funny that you just said that right now. I know that I don't think it's on Gunn's slate at all, but man, I would like to see that third movie.
Yeah,
with the Linda Carter and all that. I really loved those Wonder Woman movies. As much as the current Superman movie, I loved it, but I am not in the category that the Snyderverse was all bad. I liked a lot of the Snyderverse, and there's certain pieces I want to see pay off.
Yes,
I might be in a minority in this one, but I wanted to see that other Superman movie they were going to do in that universe.
Yeah,
I liked Henry Cavill.
I 100% wanted to see that, and I wanted to see the second Black Adam movie with starting off with Black Adam versus Superman.
I wanted to see another Superman movie first because my understanding is from everything I've read about Snyder that there was a plan for a Superman arc, and I'm not a fan with the fact that we left with we had a Superman who killed Zod. Then we had the battle that he had with Batman. We've never given him a good Superman movie.
Yeah.
And I would love to have seen I think that one needs a trilogy. That one needs a third movie. And I think Wonder Woman needs the third movie. With the Netflix rumors, which, and by the way, Netflix rumors were the rumors that Netflix was going to potentially buy it. Nothing beyond any of that. But because there were little Snyder teases dropped along the way, people ran with those. So I'm not saying that there's any foundational truth to any of this at all. But if you're dreaming, I love where Gunn's verse is going. So I don't want that going anywhere. I want to see all these movies start paying off, and I want to see where they go. But I love that he branded this Elseworlds part. I'd love to see a couple of movies with the Snyderverse, even if they go straight to Netflix.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see those pay off. Because the Aquaman movie, I think, is doing really well right now on Netflix, on the streaming, the second Aquaman movie.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, which people are trashing on. I liked that movie.
And actually, I've been able to watch it since I didn't see it in the theaters, but I was able to watch it since. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, I did too.
That was a good movie.
I don't know why. If you like the first one, the second one was more of the same. I don't know where we're getting this was some horrid movie.
It's a solid. That was a really solid superhero movie.
I saw a meme saying that it was the worst of the batch. And I'm like, that was the worst? I mean, there's some movies you can be critical of coming out of the Snyderverse and all that type of thing. That was not the one that I'm like, that was the one you think is the worst? Like, I don't know.
I disagree with that one. I disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
But that one also had bad press.
It did.
Everything that happened. And so, I don't know. But
all right. Anyway, back to this.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This is why you don't want me getting the power.
Yeah.
Who knows what screwy things I'd put in place.
Talk about artwork. Opening the sequence with Joker. Lex, you and me back at it again, just like old times. I love that image. That is absolutely brilliant. That right there is I love that look. This was something that I was like, oh my God, this is outstanding. And then I love
hold on. Before you go any further with that, just because I want to take a step back, because I'm more echoing what you're doing. So hold that thought for 1 second. His cheetah is amazing.
Oh God, yeah.
Like cheetah and just the movement of the speed, and just when she's got the claws around Lex's face like that. I mean, you can almost feel it. It almost looks like she's trying to do a Vulcan mind meld.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she's got those claws sitting there, and Joker interrupts that for the sequence that you're talking about. Her rendition of both characters, his rendition of both characters. I absolutely love the artwork of Eddie Barrows.
Oh, God, yeah.
Historically, for this show, we've been very fortunate to cover a lot of the Eddie Barrows work, because of the fact that this is an artist that very quickly graduated to big-time stories like this. And you get why. I mean, this art team is nailing this, really nailing this.
Oh, big time. And again, to go echoing what you said about the cheetah, again, I love that the sequence right before Joker appears, when he's laughing, interrupting them, the look on her face.
Yes.
So that's another really cool facial expression. But again, I love shifting into the Joker. And I do love the fact that we see him say, shall we stab each other in the back now or wait until the end of the tournament? And in the tournament, we see him stab two of those people in the back. Actually step on one and eat the other one.
Look at the detail on the Joker's pants.
Yeah.
Like when you lean like that in the coat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the folds that would naturally occur on pants as you're leaning against a wall, and the detail. And because that takes extra time to be able to craft those little authentic folds and making it look like it's real fabric. And I just love stuff like that. Even the bend, when he's done the bend of leg, it's not straight, it's not clean. I would be, if I was drawing this myself, which I am a terrible artist, so let me be very, very clear. But I would be lucky if I got like the straight leg and the bent leg right. I would not be putting in the intricate folds of the pants and things like he is. It is throughout the entire pants what he does. I know it's kind of a weird thing to focus on, but he did it with the jacket as well. I just love details like that because I know it takes more time, but the authenticity of what it looks like, the sense of it carries it on when Joker's doing his little dance in the next little smaller panel.
Yeah.
It's just those details are just phenomenal. This is terrific artwork.
It's when I listen to there's certain music when I listen to it, some of the different jazz people I like, it makes me want to pick up my horn and play again. Well, now it's a terrible trumpet player. So
yes,
but it still makes me want to do that. This artwork makes me want to pick up a pen and paper and draw. And I'm a horrible artist, but it inspires you to say, damn, this is what it's supposed to look like.
I'm going to correct you on something, though. I have heard you play trumpet before. You were very good. Actually, we were very lucky with the band that we had at that point in time, because I remember being at games where you were playing at games, weren't you? Yeah, it was, I think, Kirtland or one of the games we were over there, the band was playing at. And I remember our band was very, very good.
Yes, our band was very good.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is there's not a weak link in that band. So I'm more complimenting you because listen, we're going back.
This is high school.
Late 80s. And I'm like, I still have memories over there. And I'm like, no, I don't know. Our band was very, very good. So I'm going to correct you there and say,
well, thank you.
Listen, I've never played an instrument other than a recorder or whatever it was that I played in elementary school. So I do marvel at people who took up an instrument and played it well. Yeah, whether you're with a band or whatever, when you're with a band, if somebody's a weak link in the band, they stand out. Like, I mean, come on, we've all heard bands before where there's that person that like one of these things is not like the other because it's music. You're going to hear that. So no, our band was very, very good at Euclid, which means you were very good. So I can say that as a spectator. And believe me, I pick on you all the time, so I'm giving you a compliment. They're rare. But Eddie Barrows, back to the artwork. I'm looking at the doggone vest. I know I'm obsessed with the Joker now. The doggone vest has folds in it. I mean, these are things. The reason why I'm marveling at this is we've been very, very fortunate to have talked to a lot of artistic talent in our time on this show, where pencilers, inkers, colorists, everybody that's been involved in the process. And stuff like that, choices like that, takes extra time for all parties involved. If you are a penciler, inker, colorist, these things all impact you when you make these choices. And it was so effective here. This is stuff where we start talking about the high-profile artists that are doing this kind of stuff. We know. I mean, we've marveled at this stuff on the show when we've been fortunate to talk about top-tier talent. We've been lucky. Everybody we've had on is top-tier talent. Yeah. Just because they were fortunate enough to come on the show. And, wow, I love stuff like this. I do love that everyone's suited up with Lex armor.
They needed a way to sneak into Scar Terrace.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they're like, hey, how can we sneak in there? It's like, don't worry. I got that. I got you covered. And seeing them in the armor, the one that made me laugh was Starro.
Yes.
There's no body to him. There's just the star right at the head. But he's got a full body armor. So I'm like, what's in the rest of the armor?
I love that the other three commenting on it. And one is like, it hurts. I think that was Starro.
That's Starro saying it hurts. Yeah.
This was a bad idea, Lex. My armor is breaking. And Joker's like, I love it. Yeah. It was such a great sequence of events. And then leading back to the continued confrontation between Luthor and Superman, where now the reveal's been put in place. And we did get to see Joker do more eating of people, which was in crushing people, which was great. It was great to see that recapped.
Yeah.
This leading to the next two fights that are going to be coming up. Superman versus Captain Atom and Lex Luthor versus the Demon in the Death Tournament. I want to see those fights. This feels like a promo. I was watching WWE Survivor Series, and they had promos for like WrestleMania and stuff. We were all like, oh man, why do we have promos in there? But they were selling tickets for the event. So you get why they're doing the promo. They're trying to get people to actual butts in seat, not watching it at home, watching it there, which they were looking for. But it was this type of stuff where you're getting these type of promos in there. This feels like a big fight.
Yes.
I love what they're doing here with this.
Oh, God, yeah. And again, I love the bit between they're teasing the fight between Luthor and Superman. It's got to come to them.
Yeah.
It's got to. And I love the fact that Lex's whole thing is, Clark, your biggest weakness is you care. Not just about the people here. You're distracted by what is happening outside as well.
Yeah.
I love that fact that we've got that. Again, it's a tease as to, could Lex beat Superman? Could we run into a situation where Superman gets defeated? What would happen? I don't know. I love the fact that a month ago, I never would have remotely thought Superman wasn't winning. But when I heard about this tournament, first thought that popped in my head is, okay, Superman's going to win it. Now they're giving me a tease as to what if Superman doesn't win? What if Lex wins it? What would Lex do? We keep saying Lex would change everything. What if Lex doesn't? What if Lex just reboots everything the way it was just to show Superman, I'm better than you. I don't need to change everything. I don't need to make me a god in this world. I already am because I beat you in this tournament.
Here's the part. So I see that. I see Lex's ego pushing him to that. I don't trust it. And I love
it. Either. But
I love it.
I get it.
Yeah.
The fact that I've got doubt in my head is the strength of this story, the strength of this, what the creation team is doing.
Oh yeah,
this title in DCKO, all the different tie-ins.
Yes,
what they're doing as an event, it's got me doubting that the Big Blue is going to win, and I love that about this.
I think Darkseid's got me doubting that the Big Blue's going to win.
Well, I'm still thinking,
although I'm going to be honest with you though, I think here's the problem. we're seeing multiple phases of this. What happens with Darkseid in this tournament? And what happens? He just killed Time Trapper, which Time Trapper, here's the thing, Time Trapper wanted that.
Yes. Part of me, I got a couple variants in my mind is where this story goes. One of them is Superman wins it, Big Blue saves the day.
Yeah.
The other is Lex wins it and keeps everything the way it is because his ego. The other one is Time Trapper actually turns out to be the good guy. Even though they're teasing us that he's actually got some ulterior motives and this and that, and Time Trapper ends up being the one to save the day. And this is his moment where he evolves onto something beyond. And once he evolved onto something beyond, he's at peace. Think about it. If you finally fulfill your destiny, you 100% reach the end of it, why destroy everybody? You don't need to. So you just bring it back.
Why does that? Here's the problem, though. Here's where why didn't he reveal his secret all along? And I think this is where I'm going. I'm going to trust the reporter's instincts of Lois Lane right now.
Yeah.
I think Lois is onto something. And I'm very curious to see where that ends up going. Back at the Fortress of Solitude piece is exactly where we're at right now. And I love that the death tournament, I'm missing it. And Lois is like, I thought you said you weren't doing that anymore. Because he's like, I'll be punching heads off left and right. And he's saying, I'm saying I could do that. Not that I'm ill. And I love that she's recognizing he doesn't have any focus. This actually, the whole conversation is making me say, thank God he's not in it.
He's not in it. Yeah, I know. Me too.
Because oh my gosh, he would be such a chaotic element in the whole tournament. The Legion shows up at this point in time, and we've got 3 members of the Legion versus Superwoman. And I love that at first she's like ready to get Prime and like, let's go and start the battle. And she's like, I can't let you have this. So she turns around and comes back, is ready to fight them on her own. And so Prime shows up with what looks like Clark. I'm going to admit, I knew right away what this was.
Yeah. Well, I honestly thought it was, he went to a different pool. I wasn't thinking Robot Superman. I was actually thinking another Earth Superman.
See, here's why I thought Robot Superman. This is me going back to Silver Agey crazy stuff. This is how Superman covered for himself in the Silver Agey stuff. So okay. I knew they were in the fortress, and that's why I went to robots. Nice. And there's times where I'm completely dumbfounded by, or I'm like, I should have known that. This one, I'm like, oh, it's a robot. I was not surprised at all that it was a robot just because of the fortress. Yeah. And that's geeky Silver Age, because I have remember I mentioned Flea Market Comics that I've got one of those stories where Superman used a robot to cover for himself for his identity. And there was a very common thing that he did in the fortress, and it was cool to see that brought in. I love that geek, and I love that Prime would know that was there because of the fact that he's a Superman fan.
Yeah,
that whole everything about that just made so much sense.
Now, one, I love the fact that she immediately thinks it's Cyborg Superman.
Yes,
that was something I loved, but also Prime also released all of the robot Supermen. They're right, just the one. So they now have an army of robot Supermen to fight alongside them.
Right.
That is outstanding.
Yeah, it does make this whole storyline really cool. I love that with everything going on with DCKO and how much of it focuses on Superman, and the fact that we're getting an actual special DCKO Superman versus Captain Atom, that in this story, they're focusing so much on Prime and Lois, and what's going on there. They're giving us the details and bringing us up to speed on what's going on with Superman, but letting the main events breathe and happen in DC and in these specials. This book has a ton of validity in it.
Now, that issue, is that only going to be Superman and Captain Atom, or is that going to be Superman, Captain Atom, Lex Luthor, and the Demon?
I don't know.
Do you know? 'Cause that's what I'm wondering.
I'm wondering if not, I'm wondering if Lex Luthor and the Demon's in this book.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I could go for a full book of just the Superman versus Captain Atom, or I could go for splitting time, or I'm willing to bet that there's going to be more story being told inside there other than just the fight.
It's called Fight Month, though.
Yeah.
So most of the books are going to... Oh, I'm with you. I do think there's going to be other story being told there, like how it's told here. But I think the main event, the main focus of that book is going to be the fight. But you're right. There's going to be other pages devoted to other things to keep moving the story forward, sure. If I were guessing, and I want to be very clear, I'm guessing. I have blurbs in front of me right now. It says to be continued in Superman KO, DC KO, Superman versus Captain Atom #1 and Superman #33, with both issues being referenced. Either both fights are going to be taking place between those two issues. The Captain Atom Superman, which is what I'm thinking, is going to be in that special, and Luthor and the Demon are going to be here, along with continued storytelling with Prime and Lois.
Yeah, because again, when you look at because they've got the listing of what's coming up in December, January, February, March. They've got the Superman Captain Atom book, but there's no mention of Luthor in the thing. They've got Wonder Woman versus Lobo, Harley versus Zatanna, and Red Hook versus Joker as titles of these special events.
So wait, I'm right. Superman 33 has Lex Luthor versus the Demon on the front cover.
Okay, cool. Nice.
That's called round 7. So yeah, I'm looking at that right now. I looked up the issue. I'm like, well, why am I making guesswork out of this? So that is with Fight Month. That is Lex Luthor versus the Demon. They were actually teasing that that's going to be in the issue.
Oh, cool. I'm again looking forward to that fight.
Yeah, I am too. This has been such a good event.
Hope this craft can withstand this powerful force.
RagingBullets.com is our show website. That's where you can find details on upcoming and current episodes. We feed into X/Twitter. We also feed into our Facebook fan page. We are proud to be part of an amazing Facebook group community, and people are posting in there all the time. They're sharing news articles, blogs, making comments on the episodes, correcting things that we end up missing, or just sharing their own thoughts. Sometimes we speculate. That leads to additional speculation from people listening. I always love seeing what people are reading and sharing. So please consider posting over in our Facebook group community. The About Us section of our show website is where you can find out how to connect with us on social media and gaming platforms. I'm a regular co-host on Is It Jaws, which is a bi-weekly podcast that's doing film reviews using the Jaws 1 through 4 scale. And I would thank Paul Spataro, as always, for inviting me onto that particular podcast. So please consider checking out Is It Jaws. We are sponsored, as always, by DCB Service and InStockTrades.com. Mr. Seguin, what's happening over at DCBService.com?
We have Superman, the Man of Steel by John Byrne, Absolute Edition, 48% off, only $52. And Wonder Woman, Black and Gold, 2026 one-shot, 38% off, only $371. Thank you, DCBS.
Over at InStockTrades.com, they have the Titans trade paperback Volume 4, Terminated. This is John Layman. This is Pete Woods, Max Rayner, and Daniel Bayliss. John Layman's gripping Titan saga continues as the team confronts a nightmare they never saw coming. Deathstroke, seemingly back from the dead. $17.99 regularly, 48% off, only $9.35. If you've been following our DCKO coverage and you're not a regular Titans reader, this is a great story. It's well worth picking up.
I love that story.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God, did I love that story.
Yeah, Layman really gets the Titans, so it's a great book. I want to thank DCB Service and InStockTrades.com for supporting us and a whole bunch of other podcasts. They're really just a great company. Mr. Seguin, next week we are going to be back, and we are going to be talking about, this time, DC and Marvel crossovers. We're finally going to talk about Deadpool Batman and Batman Deadpool. Then we will jump back to DCKO the following week. We will see you then.
Bye!
All right, you guys. Are you ready to sing your song?
I'd say we are. Yeah, let's sing it now.
Okay, this should be fun. Now get ready for your cue. Okay, Sean?
Okay.
Okay, Jim? Jim? Jim!
Okay. Raging Bullets time is here. We talk about what we hold dear. Comic books and TV shows, superheroes and their clothes, Justice League and so much more. I just love Green Lantern Corps.
Okay, fellas, get ready. That was very good, Sean.
Naturally.
Jim, you're a little flat there, so be careful. Jim? Jim? Jim!
Okay. Justice League and so much more. I still love Green Lantern Corps. DC Comics are what we know. The Raging Bullet Show. DC Comics are what we know. The Raging Bullet Show.
Excellent job, guys.
Let's sing it again. Yeah, let's sing it again.
No, that's enough. Let's not push it.
Push it. What is that? Yeah, what are you talking about?
No, I didn't mean anything by that.
I think
Sean,
you're right there.
Jim,
I don't know.
how long do you want the song to go?
Look, it's our